Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi guys, welcome to episode 109 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I hope this episode finds you happy and healthy, and I also hope that if you love this episode, you share it. You can copy and text it to someone. You never know, you might change their life. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. It helps so much in the podcast universe. All right, so I'm not sure where you are in the world, but I'm in Tennessee. And you may not know much about our weather, but it's nice. We have 4 seasons, which is one of the things I love about our region. And winter is very mild. I mean, maybe in a normal year we get a couple of inches of snow. Now, that's a big maybe. But not this year. No, we got almost a foot of snow, all in 1 week. Everything was closed, everything. If you weren't prepared, you were figuring out you should have been real quick. Now, we had to laugh. That's all you can do, right? Because, of course, in the weirdest year we've had in my lifetime, of course we would have a foot of snow in a week. So pretty much everything was closed for the whole week. I mean, that's what happens in the South with 2 inches. Now imagine 10.5. All right, I'm getting to my point, I promise. Resilience, determination, and getting back to basics. That's the name of the game. And if this year hasn't taught you that, you're not listening. We may have gotten off course a little bit in the last few years, making everything super complicated. But when things go wrong, you have to go back to basics. And when I was younger, I was in real estate and I worked for a man named Jerry Bowden. He's still a friend to this day. He is a super genius when it comes to building and selling homes. Now, he used to always say to us, when things are getting rough or maybe you're not selling as much as you wanted to, you had to go back to basics. You have to make sure you're doing those. And he was selling homes when the percentage rate was upwards of 15%. You had to be smart to survive and thrive in that world. And in home sales, what basics meant was you had a sign up in the yard. You're making sure that the brochures were always full. You did your follow-up calls, those sorts of things. Well, I think right now is a time for us all to go back to basics. I mean, we've been living in chaos, right, for the last year. Most of us, anyway, if you're not living under a rock. COVID being kind of a big reason for that, but also maybe politics play a little bit of a role, and throw on top of it a snowstorm that shuts down your region, and you got a perfect storm, right? In the words of Ed Lattimore, no one's coming to save you. And I'm going to repeat that as long as I can because it helps me remember that I'm responsible for myself and you're responsible for yourself. If you're a family unit, that family unit comes next. Now, you may want to disagree with me on that, but you know how when you get on a plane and every single time it's like a broken record, they tell you if the oxygen mask comes down, put it on yourself before you put it on your child. And the reason they say that is because you are no good to your kid if you can't breathe, right? So you got to get your breath going first and then theirs. You're no good to your family if you're unhealthy and broke and your mindset's a wreck. So what are the basics of life? I thought you'd never ask. I have 5 that I've listed. Now, this is my list. Yours may vary from this. So number 1, your physical health. Number 2, your mental health. Number 3, your community. This includes, but isn't limited to, family and friends. Number 4, your security. And that includes, but it's not limited to, financial security. And number 5, your home, your refuge. Now, yours may be different from that. For me personally, and I'm being really transparent here, when COVID hit, I was probably in the best shape of my life. I mean, I was working out 6 days a week, which I love, and I had cut my drinking of alcohol to only about 2 days maximum per week. Now, I'm a social drinker, so I enjoy a glass or 2 with friends out at dinner. The gym situation being open and then closed, then mask required, then not required, then required again while working out, and then, of course, the restaurants being weird. With all that going on, my drinking went up during COVID to probably 5 to 6 days a week. And my workouts, they went down to maybe 2 to 3 times per week. So I'm a lightweight, right? 2 drinks and I'm a little bit tipsy. And my body right now isn't as fit as it was. I also struggled because at one point, the hormone specialist where I get my hormone therapy was closed for a little while. And so my moods were not good for a month or so. But we were able to fix that quickly because I knew exactly what it was. I talked about that in the episode with Dr. Pearson. Now, my mental health has stayed pretty strong because I know how important that is to my overall well-being. And this podcast and other podcasts have helped that tremendously. And then my morning routine is crucial. Now, I notice when I don't meditate and grateful journal, then my thoughts can veer negative pretty quickly. Just like working out, your daily mental wellness routine is crucial. It is for me. Do you roll your eyes when you hear that? If you do, you need it more than you know. I love you though. I tell you all of this because I didn't become a raging alcoholic during COVID. I didn't put on 10 pounds. And I didn't go into a deep depression because I know to maintain the basics. And look, it's okay to have a bad day. We're all going to have those. But don't let it turn into a bad week. Don't let a bad week turn into a bad month. And God forbid you have a bad month or a bad year. Don't let it turn into the rest of your life. Regroup and get back to basics. Having good habits and making sure you're covering the basics is the key to resiliency during hard times. Now, sometimes we think we're the only ones with problems because everyone on social media looks so happy and successful and their families and bodies are perfect and they live in bliss every single day. But you have to see through that, right? You have to know we're all human. There are seasons of life. I mean, we all have ups and downs. But taking care of the basics, creating good habits now, wherever you are in the season of life, I mean, it's not too late to create good habits. It just isn't. Now is the time to get back to basics, to get yourself mentally and physically prepared to living a joyous, inspired, fulfilling life right now. And when shit hits the fan, which it will, you'll be 10 steps ahead. And those 3 or 4 or 7 steps you get knocked back won't mean the end of the world because you're resilient. My challenge to you this week is to figure out the basics of your life and master them so that you're living a life that fills you with joy in the present, but you're prepared for whatever this beautiful, crazy, unpredictable world throws at you. I love you, and I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.